Hello Rob, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
I'm so glad actually you kindly offered to give up some of your precious time here. Money 2020 Europe in Amsterdam, so in 2019. Last time we met, believe me or not, if you remember, was 2012 at a Finovate event.
I do remember. I feel like it was a lifetime ago though. I feel like I was like 10 years old and now I'm like 100 years old. But
well, what
that's
a
what
journey.
that's what fintech will do to you. It'll age you.
No comment. But at the same time, it's probably well worth, the time, money, effort, blood for what it is you managed to accomplish, just in 6 or 7 years, since 2012 at least.
Yeah.
So before we start, Kabbage, where small businesses get funded, which I like as a mission statement. And just quickly, Forbes said recently that you provided access to more than $5.6 billion.
We're actually up over 7 now.
Yeah,
keep track. Who knows? I need to look at my time on my on my watch.
Going up
No
like every
watch.
second, and more than 150,000 small.
Now we're closing in on
businesses.
200,000.
Here we go. So 200,000, and also in Business Insider recently, you've been flagged as one of the most valuable startups in the great state of Georgia. I guess in Atlanta. So 1.2 billion valuations, probably much more than that by now, or market capitalization. So Rob, for those viewers who are not familiar with Kabbage, which is going to be very few, could you please give us just a helicopter view of what it is you do here?
Sure. So when we started Kabbage, it was focused on providing small businesses a really simple way to get access to capital. So literally land on our site, give us access to a few data sources. Within minutes, we'd actually deliver cash to you. We still do that. You mentioned the stats. We've delivered $7 billion in capital to nearly 200,000 businesses now. But our mission is changing, and I think that's an important part. It's been 6 or 7 years since we last got together, but our mission is changing, and we're going to continue to provide funding always to small businesses, but expanding and evolving what we do to also include other financial services. Mm-hmm. We're fortunate to have a large customer base that comes back again and again, 15 or 16 times, a strong brand in the space, and a lot of data about our small business customers. So it puts us in great position to be able to offer them other products and services that may be of value to them.
So that would be through partnerships then with other
No, actually we're building a lot of it. So we've announced payment acceptance. So we're in pilot last year, and we're actually still in a beta pilot period, but we're gonna go to broader distribution in Q3, in the third quarter of this year. Okay. And then we're looking at other financial services that may be of value to our customers. We're really focused around solving the cash flow issues that small business customers have, and also allowing them to do it in a way that minimizes the amount of time they need to invest in working on cash flow. Because they entered a business to do something amazing, let them go do that amazing thing.
And we know actually at the moment as well, being a small business could be painful, as so many hours spent on tension.
And how much time do you want to spend working on the books and working on cash flow, right? You have to spend a lot of time.
I know.
And it's not that's not what you're expert at. So think about it as more of an autonomous cash flow solution for small businesses.
So you're very big, you build a brand in the US in particular. Let's talk about international expansions. Can you share anything on that, please?
Sure, absolutely. So we've partnered in the past with companies like Santander and ING to basically license our technology to them. We're looking a lot more, obviously, as you get large in one territory, you start thinking about how you might be able to expand and offer that product or service in other territories. So right now we're in active conversations. We're looking at a lot of different possibilities about where we might want to expand the Kabbage brand directly into those markets.
Okay, yeah. So, and with the banks, that was in white label solutions, so...
Effectively, they've been licensed technology with a small co-brand, yes.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, it's fascinating. We're here at Money 2020 in Amsterdam, arguably one of the biggest, most meaningful fintech money events actually worldwide. And you're here, you've been invited, so could you please share and tell us more about your experience of Money 2020 and what you shared, the story?
Sure. So I actually was at the very first Money 2020 in Copenhagen. So yeah, I was. I didn't make it.
You're a veteran of Money 2020.
Yeah, well, I'm a every time. I feel like I should have some gold star on my badge for the U.S. For having attended every Money 2020 in the U.S. But I've been able to be here in Amsterdam the last year and again this year, and I think the conference is terrific, and it's actually very different than the U.S. conference. I think the content is great. the flow, the way they set this up, how they create interactions between attendees. I think they've done an excellent job, and I think they bring a great. I'm not tooting my own horn. I think that outside of me, amazing speakers outside of me, but they bring the people who have information and who are willing to share it in kind of an authentic way, and that to me is really important. When you have content, you want that content to be not programmed, and you want it to be natural and authentic, and you want it to actually be insightful, so you can take that information as an attendee and use it in your life.
Of course, yeah. No, I would agree with you. It's not just the quality of the speaker, but it's the format they come up with. It's the conversations they create as well. They're quite good to extend that online as well on social. It depends on the organizers, but here they're doing a fine job, yeah. The last question, because you're super busy, so I'm grateful again you're here with us today. Being a leader, a very experienced, company leader, CEO in the fintech space, right? In 2019, according to you, what are still the key challenges to further accelerate growth when you're a fintech startup or even scale up to some extent?
Yeah, so look, fintech doesn't move in a straight line. I've always said, for me, accelerating growth, we acquire small business customers. I've always said, and pardon my language, but there are 1,000 shitty ways to acquire a small business customer. We have to be good at all of them, which means that your customers, especially if you're working on more of a retail level, and even though we work with small business, so technically business, they operate and they purchase a lot like consumers.
Yes.
And so we have to be out there with our brand. We have to find every way to market and promote our product and service, and you absolutely just have to continue to be relentless. The competition is never going to be less than it was the day before. There's always more competition. There's always smarter competition, and you just have to, you have to continue. If you think you're doing it one way and that's the way you can do it for the rest of your life, you're not going to be a success. You have to constantly evolve.
You have to disrupt yourself and challenge yourself, transform yourself.
I totally agree with
like
that.
My good friend Jim Maris would say in the US, and you must know Jim probably anyway. So thank you so much for your time,
Thank you.
Rob. I'm really grateful. I hope we'll see you in Las Vegas. It's a given anyway. You'll be
I will be there. Yeah,
of course
I
you will
can't.
be there. And I want to
Unless
see
they
those,
stop giving me
those stars or whatever. I want to see like a
All right.
5-star general or whatever you are. Thank you very much, Rob.
Appreciate
You take care.
Thanks so much.